Hello everyone, my name is the Bazooka Prophet, and today I'm going to be taking you on a very interesting topic in the field of chemistry, talking about what we call the Bronsted-lowry acids and bases. Now we should understand that the Bronsted-lowry acid and bases is one of the ways in which an acid and base can be defined. Now we will move straight down to the concept of the Bronsted-lowry acid and base. Under it, we have what we call a conjugate acid base pair. And on it, we are going to be talking about, first of all, what is the Bronsted definition of an acid and a base. Simple. Now, a Bronsted acid is an acid that donates proton. Take note, meaning a Bronsted acid donates proton, while a Bronsted base accepts proton. So, a Bronsted acid donates proton, a Bronsted base, accepts proton. And it is on that note that it is being linked to what we call the conjugate acid base pair. Now, what does it mean? Now, we will understand in this video that a conjugate acid is from a Bronsted base, while a conjugate base is from a Bronsted acid. Don't get these two concepts misinterpreted and don't get it twisted. Now, when we come again to define the conjugate base pair according to the Bronsted acid and base, you understand that a conjugate base, remember I told you earlier, a conjugate base is coming from a Bronsted acid, and it is defined as the species that will remain when one proton is removed from the acid. I repeat that a conjugate base of a Bronsted acid is the species that remains when one proton is removed from the acid. And the opposite of what I just defined now is that of the conjugate acid. Now, a conjugate acid of a Bronsted base is the species that will result from the addition of a proton, to a Bronsted base. Very simple. Now, on the board there is a given example, which is an examination question on it. And the question says, identify the conjugate acid base pair for the following reaction. And these are the given equation. Now, a fact here will be established that we tend to know our Bronsted acid and base from the reactant, and we tend to know our conjugate acid and base from the product. And if that is well understood, then we can continue. Now, we come here, the example 1. What is the Bronsted acid and what is the Bronsted base? Now, remember I've told you that a Bronsted base is a base that does what now? That would accept proton. See now, that will accept proton. And that a conjugate acid of a Bronsted base is the species that results from the addition. So it means from here now, we can link it from here straight down to here. We can link this one from here straight down to here. It's simple logic. I'm trying to make it so simple that this one here is the base, which is the conjugate base. Why? If you look at it here now, from the base we'll get our what now? From the base we'll get our conjugate what now? Acid. How? Remember I've told you that a conjugate acid of a Bronsted base is the species that would result from the addition of a proton. Look at it now. I mean, here I was having a base here. There was an addition of a proton to this one. You see it now? To a Bronsted base. Meaning when we add a proton to this base, we'll get a conjugate acid. And we will remove a proton from this acid here. What do we get? We'll get a conjugate what? Base. Simple. Meaning conjugate acid from a Bronsted base and a conjugate base, you see, minus from a Bronsted acid. Very simple. Now, based on that logic too, so it means that the Bronsted acid there is ammonia, while the Bronsted base here is the ammonia, while the Bronsted acid here is the water. The conjugate acid here is the ammonium ion, while the conjugate base here is the hydroxide ion. They move straight down here. From here too, we can also know that this one will link here, while this one will link here. See, it is not difficult at all. So it means that this one here is my conjugate. So this one here is my what now? It's my Bronsted base. See now, why? The Bronsted base would accept proton, and this is the proton it has just accepted. And when it does that, here becomes my conjugate acid. And if I know that one species is the conjugate, one species here is the Bronsted base, then this other reactant species will be my what now? Will be my Bronsted acid, which is the acid there, then becomes my conjugate or base. See? So it means cyanide there, the Bronsted base, water here, the Bronsted or acid. Then lastly, this one is so simple. Of course, simple logic will tell that from here, give me this one. So this one here is my base. That it had already accepted the proton here. It becomes my conjugate acid. And here now is my Bronsted acid, and here is my conjugate what now? My conjugate base. And that is how easy it is. And that ends our video under the Bronsted-lowry acid and what now? And base. Please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel and please share. For now, God bless you.